hard in every way they can. And people like this that come and strip that from them. And for that, I ask Grandfather to forgive me, because for that, I'm hurt and I'm angry. I think about what brought us here today. Was it his action? Was it the tribal flags? What was it? And I think it comes down to the violation of our rights. I served in the military. And by doing so, I can fly that flag how I see fit.
Yes. Thank you. Right.
I can fly that flag the way that society says I'm supposed to. And I can fly it in distress, upside down.
Yes.
And that distress is not only for what's happening now in our country and in the world, but it's also for all the broken treaties.
Yes.
It's also for the atrocities that the people of color have to go through. You know, I woke up to the news this morning, and my news is little brother of mine, Ambrose Cruz, and he's messaging me, and he said, "You have some live stream from yesterday? The one I got is broken up. Do you have the live stream?" And I'm thinking, what live stream? What are you talking about? And then I turned on the TV, and I got society's version
Right.
of what happened.
Right.
I didn't get the true version.
Come on now.
I got society's version. And they cleaned it up, made some powder on it,
No.
and made it look through that white version. I knew instantly. So I got on Messenger right away. And as soon as I got on, there was a message from my sister. And she said, "I feel kind of weird today. I was at Elijah's walk yesterday, and I'm still trying to process that. I didn't sleep.
Right.
I had a hard time. And I instantly told her to call her spirit back from there. Her spirit doesn't need to stay there. Call it back. We have to do that. I was also met with a post that brought back that anger. I read a post about one of the Black Lives Matter organizers. He took some flags off some cars, Trump rally flags. And he didn't take possession of them, he threw them on the ground. And they charged him with 2 felonies.
Of course they did.
One of the charges was strong arm robbery.
Wow. Get there. That's how they do it.
They called the perpetrator on my home on the phone
That's ridiculous.
and gave him a summons over the phone.
Shame. Wow. That's sick.
And they charged him with simple theft.
Wow. Shame.
And then menacing, mischief. Both misdemeanors.
That's why privilege.
My words to them, to the mayor, to the chief of police, to the 2 detectives, that was a great example
Right.
of white privilege.
Yes. Get it. That's right. Get it. It's white privilege.
I'm no angel. I've been in trouble. I've been arrested. And I don't ever remember a cop calling me.
On the phone.
Give me a chance to talk my way out of it.
Wow.
And then just tell me, you go to court on this day.
I'm really pissed off.
I've never had that opportunity. Have any of you?
No. Hell no. Right, that part.
I asked why. I got 4 different reasons from the people inside that building. The first reason I got told is why they didn't charge him with a hate crime or ethnic intimidation was that he was at a barbecue and that the barbecue was for his friend that was a veteran that passed away. And then when he came by and he seen my flags, they disrespected him. That's why he did it. So I instantly said, what about the disrespect to me, my family, and my home?
Right. That's right.
And then they changed it. And the second excuse they gave me that they didn't charge him was because he fully didn't know what the flags were. So I said, well, how was he disrespected if he didn't know what the flags were?
Come on now.
Don't double talk me.
Come on.
I didn't fall off the turnip truck this morning.
That's right.
So the third reason was because when he came up to my house, the American flag was upside down.
Where it's supposed to.
And that's why he took it. They didn't mention the tribal flags, they just said the national. But yet my tribal flags were taken too. And then the fourth one that I got from the chief of police was the reason they're not charging him with a hate crime or ethnic intimidation was because my flags were not in full open. They were not furled. They were not unfurled. And that's why he took my flags. And they're not going to charge him. So I said, oh wait, the wind had to be part of the charge? In order for the flags to be open, the wind had to play part? So I got a call then yesterday, was it yesterday from the city manager? Friday from the city manager. And she said that she had interviewed the 2 detectives and the chief, and the information that I'm giving her, she didn't know about. I said, oh wait, that's not the beginning of it. You see, before it happened, there was a young man on a pedal bike that scoped out my house. I have video, I have a ring camera and I have a security camera. He rode back and forth in front of my house, not just like riding the bike down the street, literally coming in towards my sidewalk, looking at my house and moving out. He did that about 3 times. Then the 4th time, decided to don a Confederate flag and tie it on his neck and ride in front of my house.
Wow. Shame.
They didn't want to investigate that part. I also asked, why wasn't the person on the motorcycle investigated?
That part.
They don't even know who he is. They never even asked. I gave them footage. They don't even know who he is. City manager said, oh, I didn't know that. So then I asked her, does the left not know what the right is doing?
That part.
I'm confused with that. Because if you're a place of justice, if you're a place of equality, you should know that.
Yep.
But they don't. So no one in there knows. So I called the DA. They gave me the DA's name. I called him. I think I'm on day 6 or so. I'm still waiting for him to return my call. He has not given me the time of day as to why. So I also thought I could do this. I could invite the news down. By the way, Channel 9 is right there. They can be here. They can see it. It can be televised. But I talked to my sister about this, and I said, we need to infiltrate that place.
Yes, we do. Everything gotta come down.
So I told the chief of police, I told the city manager, I want to start an oversight committee.
Thank you.
I want to know. I want to see. I want to be part of it. You know, my dad said, the only way you're going to make change is if you make the change.
That's right.
The only way you're going to see change is if you make people uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's my mission. And it was funny because when the chief said this, he said, oh, we would love for you to be on there, you know, get it started, be on there a year or two or how, you know, when you think. And I thought, you're trying to make me a token player.
Right. Right. And you're
I'm not going to be on here for a year or two.
No.
You're going to see this, all of this,
all of it.
Yes.
All of it.
in there.
Yes.
Yes.
Asking those questions and making people uncomfortable.
Come on
Yes.
now.
I had a new family member I met yesterday. He said, I could make a lot of noise. Give me a holler, I'll come with you.
Here it is. Yeah. It's a little.
And that's why I posted this morning that we march today from all directions of that medicine wheel.
Yes.
If you look around, we're not all native here. We've come from all directions.
Yes.
We come for one reason, justice.
That part. We're honoring our hearts.
You know, we were in the Army surplus store the other day buying flagpoles because even though he took those flags, he didn't win.
No.
Right,
Those
right.
flags are going back up. In fact, we're ordering, I'm also Haudenosaunee, which is Mohawk, and my wife is also from Rosebud. So we're putting those flags out too. And I also have family members that originated from Mexico. That flag's coming out too. So it's not that they thought they won and they were going to push it underneath the carpet. They made this warrior stronger.
Yes.
I told the chief, when I was young and I struggled in school and I had a teacher to tell me in high school that I should quit school because I was going to become one of the four. And I looked at him and I said, what are you talking about? He said, you're either going to end up in prison, you're going to end up dead, you're going to end up on welfare, or you're just going to end up selling drugs. So you might as well just quit now. Get a head start. This was a teacher at Denver North High School.
Shame.
I went home and I told my dad, I was sitting there and I was upset. I was sitting there and this was a math class. And I was looking at that math book and I was upset and I was pissed. My dad came and my dad was an activist also. And he said, what's going on? We have problems or what's going on? And I said, nothing, it's all right. And I slammed the book closed. And he said, don't go there with me. What's going on? So I told him what that teacher told me. And he said, you know what? The only way you're going to make change, you change it.
That's right. You have to be.
So I went the next day to that class. And I decided that I was going to take the class before that and his class and the next class, all the books with me at the same time. And this is, I'm telling my age now. This is before backpacks. So you carried everything in your arms.
Oh, you were good then.
Thank you. And I went to his class and my desk was in the back of the room. And I took my desk and I pulled it through the aisle and I buttered it up right against his desk. And I sat down. You see, another thing my dad told me, he said, son, that book was not written for you.
Right. No, it was not.
That book was not written for you to succeed.
Right.
But it was
Right.
written for you to stumble.
Right.
Open that book and read it twice. And come back and explain the book to him. And I did that. I started studying a chapter ahead. And when he would start asking questions, I'd raise my hand. Well, now, he took himself and he put himself in front of me so that I was at his back. He wouldn't call on me. But that didn't stop me from raising my hand. I played on every sports team. Not that I was any good at all of them. I couldn't play baseball to save my soul. When the cheerleader's turn and she asked that teacher, how come he never calls on me when my hand is up for every question? And he turned around, and I'm going to give my age again, and he handed me a piece of yellow chalk. And he said, go ahead, go to the board and get it wrong. So I went to that chalkboard, and I did that problem how I know how. And he said, nope, told you you're going to get it wrong. I said, no. One of the other kids said, no, he's right. That's the right answer. And he said, no, you're supposed to do it this way. And I said, no, that's your way. This is my way.
More than one.
Right.
I can come into that house any way I want.
Come on
Yes.
now.
I don't need to go in your front door.
Come on now.
And he kicked me out of class because I was being disruptive. So I came back. I wouldn't let him stop me. I came back. We took our midterm. I got mine back instantly the next morning. Everybody else didn't get theirs back, but I did. And my exam looked like it was dying. Looked like it was bleeding to death. There was so much red ink on it. I took that paper home and I looked at it again. I looked at it and said, these are right. There's only one that I question about, but these are right. I know they are. So my dad said, are you positive they're right? I said, I'm positive. He said, let's go. Well, let me give you a little history on my dad. My dad was about 5'5", weighed about 100 and maybe give or take 40 pounds. About 10 sticks of dynamite. So let's go back. We went back to North High. We sat down. Secretary said, why did he help you with? He said, I'm here to see the man in that office. She said, well, you have to make an appointment. He said, I did. I just did with you. She said, no, you have to call, make an appointment. He's not here. My dad said, then we'll wait till he gets back. But we're not leaving. Just about that time, we hear the phone ring. And we hear this man answer the phone. My dad turned to the secretary and said, man, he's magical. He came back and he didn't even come in the door. So again, my dad opens the door. We walk into the principal's office. The principal said, can you make an appointment, see my secretary? He said, no, we're seeing you now. So he hangs up the phone. He asked my dad what was going on. My dad told him. My dad said, give him that test. So he gives him the test and he said, did the teacher correct it? I said, yeah. With everybody's? I said, I don't know about everybody's, but I got mine back in the morning and no other person in the class has got theirs back yet. He said, why'd you get yours back early? I said, I don't know. So he took it and he looked at it and looked at it. He said, which teacher? And I told him. He said, all right, can we have an appointment tomorrow at 9? Because I want to find out what's going on here. So we went back the next morning at 9. It come out that every question was right, but that one that I thought I had problems with. They wouldn't tell me what was going to happen. I did receive a letter from that teacher. But that is how we're treated. That continues to go on today. Our youth today in school are so programmed that they even don't believe that their own people are smart enough to be those people in authority. I've had parents ask, I'm an educator. I've been in education for over 25 years. I've had parents say, Native parents, ask me if I was sure. It's not because they doubted me, it's because society taught them that we weren't smart enough. We have to decolonize them. My new family yesterday said, they touched my heart, they said, it's not that we did the things that happened, but we acknowledge that they happened, and it was our people that did them. And for that, I take my hat off to you. Today, I ask you, get in some trouble. Get in some good trouble.
Yep.
Don't stop at one thing and accept it. When they say you can't, you ask why. When they say you're not supposed to, tell them watch me. When they say you can't, tell them follow me. I ask you today from the bottom of my heart, pray for me.
Yes.
I will take on that building. I will take on the inhabitants of that building.
Yes.
And I'm going to fight.
With you.
I have not been called by so many city officials this last week, and every one of them wants me to do something. I told the mayor. She said, I'm trying. I'm really trying.
You're right.
And I told her, I don't want you to try.
I want you to do.
I want you to do.
Yes. Yes.
Don't tell me what you're trying to do. Show me what you did. She don't take my calls no more.
That's about right. That's what's thinking.
She passed me off to the mayor and the city manager. Those tables was because, like I said, more contact than I need. They said, oh, do you want us to put a table up for you? You can put your water up there? And I said, yeah, do that. You should be doing it anyway. Do it. I'll bring it here, set it up. I'm with you on that one. But today, I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
You know, the biggest part that hurts my heart is when I have to leave the home and watch her go through a routine of locking up the house. And I tease her about it. I say, oh, can I be paroled this morning, warden? So she locks the door, locks the screen door, locks the door, and the dogs are on alert. Because as much as she says, I'm not, I know. Because when I have to go, she says, where are you going? How long are you going to be? What time are you coming back? And then she watches me go. One day we'll get past that fear. Because I hate to say it, but you can't hold it in and down. We've been held down too long. We've been stifled too long. So to my veteran brothers, to my people, for your strength gives me my strength. One day, when all this is gone and we don't have to social distance like we do, you're all invited to my house for a barbecue.
Praise God.
The wife is, that's been her mission. We're gonna make the backyard so nice so when we have that barbecue. She sends my daughter pictures and says, look what we got, look what we did, look what we did. So they're already planning the barbecue and I don't even think I've been invited. I want to say thank you. The Channel 9 wants to interview me, so I'm going to invite him to come on up. You want me to do it over there? Okay. I'm going to interview with him. Please stay, and then we'll head back.
Yeah.
Hey, Gerald, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Better than yesterday. I'm energized. I received many blessings today from my people. So I feel really good.
So just look at me, don't worry about the camera. And do me a favor, just for the, don't worry about the mic, it'll pick you up. So do me a favor for my producer and writer back here. Say and spell your first and your last name.
Gerald Montour, Gerald Montour.
Gerald, what's a good
I'm just a community member.
So do you know about the backstory? Tell me a little bit more about how this house came about. And what your goals are here.
Goals today are to seek justice, to bring the appropriate charges that should be applied to this gentleman that have not, to be treated equal in all aspects of which is a white privilege. I would like to see that something happens with the DA, that they relook at this case and file the ethnic intimidation charges. And I look at this because the leader of the Black Lives Movement was charged for taking a flag off the car. One of them was strong arm robbery. There's not much difference between what he did and what this person did off the case. So I don't want to put him underneath the rug. I want justice. The wife and I left for the 4th of July because I've been leaving the home every year for the past 10 years. And we left to go fish because we couldn't go powwowing, which we usually do. We came home on the 6th of July to find our flags gone. I immediately went to our Ring video and our security cameras and seeing the footage of the man taking our flags and then smacking our door, going to the street and challenging us, throwing our flags in the back of his truck with an accomplice that was never investigated. And nothing was done. There was assigned to an African-American policeman that was very sympathetic. He came to my house, he interviewed, he video, and then he was immediately taken off the case. And the case was given to two white women detectives. They wrapped it up in 30 minutes with a theft charge and a menacing charge. The thought and the fact that this man was given a privilege that people of color are not given. This man was given an opportunity to talk himself out of charges by phone. This man was given carte blanche to walk away. You know, not only is it not fair, but it's unconstitutional because my rights were violated. You know, nothing was ever talked about that I was disrespected. My wife, I'm a veteran of the United States Air Force. To enter someone's property and disrespect. You know, I stated this before that I don't hate the man. I prayed for him every day. And I'll continue to pray for him. And I pray that his eyes are open and his ears are open. You know, there was a man before that walked on the earth that didn't have that ability. And the Cheyenne women gave him that ability in his next life. And that was giving him the ability to hear and the ability to see. So I hope that through these prayers, he's able to do that. But before any of that could happen, he has to take a look at his head and come back as a human being. So I would like to see that happen. Because I don't think by his demonstration, his actions, that he knows how to do that. And he has no concept of how to take care of those things spiritually and with the team. The things that I would like to see, you asked me about what I wanted to see here, is not only justice, but I want the person on the motorcycle investigated. There was a person riding on a pedal bike in front of my house that scoped out my house prior. There was a person riding that same pedal bike wearing the Confederate flag. That was never investigated. There was also 2 police cruisers from the Northglen Police Department that went to that location that was supposed to have this barbecue. I don't know what happened there.
Oh, I'm so sorry. See how they're desecrating the American flag on his face? So folks, I want you to pay attention. The commander's about to ask for something to happen here.
Yes.
If you could please try to get people to stay on the sidewalk, because I noticed when we were trying to direct traffic, even some of the cars are pulling on police cars. We've got so many children and stuff with you. That way I hope everybody can stay safe.
Sounds good.
So that way try to stay on the sidewalk, because, you know, we did have a few people go around the Getty's cars and
Sure.
stay safe.
Okay.
So you have a great day.
You got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Monto. I'm gonna hold the camera about like this here. Are you okay? I've got my mask on. I want to make sure that you guys feel comfortable. Gerald, take us back to the beginning. This was July 4th. You mentioned that you and your wife wanted to get out of town for a little while. Just talk about that and then what happened.
We left Northglen. We do this every year. Fireworks stress me out as a veteran, and they stress my dogs out beyond control. So we leave every year so that we're in a quiet place so we don't have to deal with that. So this year we decided to go fishing because we could not go to where we usually go. We enjoyed ourselves, we fished, we got some time out of the city, and we came back. And when we came back, it was my wife that noticed first that something was wrong. And she got out, she had to move her car, and she immediately came back to the truck, and she said, "Our flags are gone." And I was looking, it's parked the trailer, and then we'll look at the cameras, and I did that. And when I pulled the footage from our ring camera and our security camera, is when I was seeing this person drive up directly to our home. It was an intended situation where he wasn't going to buy it, came back, but he intentionally went there. Came onto our property, took our flags out of our flag stand, which was the Diné Nation flag, the Cheyenne River Nation flag, and the national flag. Took the poles out, smacked our screen door with them in a gesture of either abuse or trying to display power or something. Turned around back down to the driveway as he's stepping on the flags, dragging them on the ground. Threw him into the back of his truck and then proceeded to challenge us either to fight or something in the middle of the street. He did have an accomplice, which was on a motorcycle that was with him. They then turned, took off. When I seen this, the first thing, and it's a humanistic reaction, I was very angry. We actually got into my truck and we drove around looking. And we drove around for about an hour and a half looking all over through the neighborhood because we thought he has to live close. We didn't find nothing. I posted this footage on our next door neighbor Ring, and I posted it on Facebook. By doing so, I got a lot of people that came back with information. And then I did a story with news media, and that was broadcasted. The minute that was broadcasted, I was inundated with information. What really threw me and puzzled me is that when I called the Northglen Police Department, I made a report. They assigned it to Officer Williamson, an African American police officer. He came to my home, he interviewed us, he actually took some footage off my security camera because I was having problems downloading it. Very sympathetic, and his words were, "We will get to the bottom of this." I called the mayor in turn called the chief of police. The next day they assigned it to 2 white female detectives. They came to the house, they interviewed us, took some pictures, called me back 30 minutes later and said they made contact with him, and they have a recorded statement, and they charged him with theft and menace. My first reaction was, Erie, Colorado is a 40-minute drive. How did you make it there in 30 minutes and back and interview? Because I don't ever remember. I've been in trouble before, and I've never had a policeman call me on the phone to charge me or give me a summons. And I told them that this was white privilege at its best. They in turn said that they couldn't charge him with any hate crime because his story was that he was at a barbecue with his friend that was a veteran, and that his friend had passed away. And when he came by and he seen my flags, that he felt disrespected, and that's why he did that. And I immediately asked, so you're taking a story that he gave you that he felt disrespected, what about this disrespect that was imposed on my family and home? And there was no answer. Then I inquired again as to why, and then the second excuse I got was because he didn't know what he was doing at the time. He didn't know what the flags meant. So I still didn't take that. I then talked to the chief, and I was told that it was that the fact that my flag was upside down was why he did this. And I asked the chief if that was the case, I could possibly fathom some kind of maybe understanding if he had drove past my house and then backed up because he's seen it, but he drove directly to my house. It was a targeted attack. And the chief said, well, let me look into that. And then I talked to the chief again, and the chief told me that they had talked to the DA, and the DA said because my flags were in furrow, and he couldn't tell what they were, that's why they didn't charge him with the hate crime or anything consideration. And my immediate reaction to the chief was that his was the best one. That was the one that gave me the biggest trouble because I didn't know the wind had to have something to do with levying charges. And this morning, what really took me over the edge is I got a posting from a friend of mine that the leader for the Black Lives Movement was charged with 2 felonies for removing Trump rally flags in Florida off a few cars and throwing them on the ground, and grabbing a flag from a person, and they literally charged him with two felonies. One of the felonies was strong arm robbery. And when I look at that case and this case, there's no difference.
Went to camp actually.
Except
went to sleep at the ice camp and then came here.
that a white perpetrator was called on the phone, and the black perpetrator was a man. They actually searched for him to arrest him, and he was incarcerated. Had to bond out.
Someone fell off the wall.
That's not what happened here in the city of Northglen. And then for them to not even investigate the case thoroughly is what they've told me is that I don't matter. I'm not enough.
A couple of quick questions, I'll let you go, and thank you for your time. You haven't gotten the flags back.
Correct.
You said you don't want them back. You do, but you don't.
I at first I didn't want them, and then after talking to elders from the Diné Nation and from the Cheyenne River Nation, their words to me was that if this man was a veteran and he knew what he was doing about the flags, he was disrespected by the way it was thrown. He would have known not to drag the flag on the ground. He would have known not to throw the flag the way he did in the back of the truck. The tribal flags represent a nation of people, and they need to be retired in a ceremonious way to remove that hate from them. So I've asked that the flags be returned so that that can happen. And I have a friend of mine that has asked if he could be part of that. He's a spiritual elder to be part of that ceremony to help take care of those and retire them in the proper way.
And then one last question, just talk about the event that took place here today.
Today we organized this event to bring awareness to the inequality that's happened with this case, the way it's been handled, the discrepancies in how it was investigated, the disparities between color, people of color that would be charged and white people, how they would be charged. I hope to bring awareness not only through media, but for them seeing us here, that we're not going to go away until justice is served and the appropriate charges are levied against us.
I didn't want to leave you out because you've experienced this too. I'm grateful for your time. Thank you for your time, and I apologize.
No problem.
It's a good little phone camera. I know what it is. But I apologize if we didn't have the TV.
No problem. Thanks, Lance. Appreciate it.
From here, do you guys walk back to Wyco Park, or where you go?
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Hey, Lance, good question. You were in Aurora yesterday.
Yes.
Did you get any reports of who was arrested for assaulting protesters on the highway last night?
The driver.
They were arrested?
No. The Aurora police aren't saying anything. I know they made contact with the driver because from the helicopter, they saw the car, the Jeep, go through the crowd of people, and then it got off the highway, and we saw a traffic stop, and they were visiting with the driver. Other protesters that I've talked to said that they let him go. And I don't know whether he was cited or not. I don't know whether they gave him a citation. We do know that he was not, to my knowledge, he was not arrested, but they know who he is.
Okay, so to that, we have received reports that that shots were fired from that vehicle.
No.
Listen to me.
Sorry, my apologies.
We have on the ground reports from people who were there that shots were fired from that vehicle. So we know you were there. We know you're covering things in a variety of perspectives. I'm asking that you cover that driver.
Well, we're trying to get more
because
information on it. Yeah.
because like he said, all the flags of Trump were taken and people are getting a felony. My flags are taken and they're just getting a phone call to come to court. Right? Somebody drives a vehicle into a crowd and nobody's arrested, and there's reports that gunfire was coming out of that vehicle. You got a duty.
Police told us though that the gunfire came from the crowd.
You have a duty
Police weren't on the ground.
to
I was on the
understand.
ground.
No, but police talked to the guy.
Do you want to make a
And
statement?
they talked to the
I'll make a
folks.
statement anonymously, sure.
Well, we're on the record right now.
I'll make a
So
statement my first name.
you need to hear what the statement is.
On camera.
About that.
What I want you to hear right now is that there was allegations, there were shots coming from the.
That I understand. We've heard those before too, but police told us that the shots were
Just
fired.
because the police tell you something does not mean it's true.
I understand that.
Okay.
But I'm telling you that just because folks say other things, it doesn't mean it's true.
I understand that, but there's a due diligence to
No,
report it
and you're right.
effectively.
You're right about that.
And-
So we've asked. That was one of the first calls that we made to the police department this morning.
Okay.
And
Did you
they-
talk to
they-
PSL organizers?
No.
Have you talked to We the People 303?
I have not, but the reporter that's assigned to that story today should be doing that.
Okay, because you were there yesterday. We saw your not so grateful tweets about some of the things that happened, and so I want to just professionally and respectfully let you know what I, a journalist who's embedded here, so that you who don't get that here get to actually have an opportunity to cover a full story.
I do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Now,
I would do a statement for either of you using my first name because of the risk of getting got by the same type of people who are driving that blue Jeep trying to run over people.
are you okay with your mask on to do it?
So I would say that what you just missed what he said. He said that he didn't want to be doxxed. That means he doesn't want to be on video. That means if you're going to take a written or a statement with his first name, that you're not identifying him as a human being.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, how
For my nephew.
That's not what you're getting there. That's not the
All right, go ahead.
Sure. Where would you like me to start?
Just, you were there yesterday.
Yes, I was there on my bicycle. It was actually there's a huge march. What I was doing on my bike was kind of ahead of things to get a view of what
What did you see in here?
I heard gunshots, and at that point, I got my bike off to the side, and I started to get low. And at that point, is in fact where they came from. I saw a blue vehicle coming out of the crowd, and the gunshots continued. And there was a person who was next to me, and I turned around, a bullet had grazed their head. So they were bleeding. The blue vehicle continued on, and at that point, my attention was on the person.
This doesn't matter. Whenever you're ready, we're ready.
Did you feel that the gunshots were coming from the Jeep?
Yes.
Hey, who's ready to
The
walk?
gunshots were moving from
Go back.
here down to here as the Jeep went by. How many?
It seemed pretty obvious because we were in an area because we were in front of the march. There was very few people around. And so it showed up sound for the way that person.
Well, you know, we do our best.
Right?
How's that go? Regulators! Mount up!
Where that bullet went.
Do you feel comfortable sharing contact info?
Like your sign.
Maybe it's easier to
Email. Go ahead.
Yeah, I
so it's mighty.
solid. I like it. I actually want to.
So we can reach out. You can reach out via email.
Yes.
Thanks again for your time, sir. Sure. And thank you.
being abandoned. Hey, wait, did we pick up all our trash, or are these kids just out here to make us look bad? No, I'm serious. Because the cops have people here to clean up the garbage after us. So we, as Earth Guardians, should leave no trace. So they don't have an excuse to give bad names to it. So much for taking the day off. I'm muting for a second, folks. So this morning I woke up and I was on the Denver Reddit, Denver protest, right? And there are people who are like, fuck Cut The Plastic. Why is he giving orders? Why is he yelling out instructions and shit, telling black people what to do? I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm silent. Because I'm behind the camera. I'm observing that the front of the line protected, but there's nobody watching the back. Watching a little bit farther in the back to make sure that the cars, if any are coming, slow down in time. Right? They don't just open the highway up and all of a sudden a flood of cars come in to collapse everybody, right? It caused a natural accident because the police weren't doing their job or right? So what I have to say is that the organization of trainings is something that this morning I'm on the phone with, okay? We are going to have a alternate NGO host March training, formation, DRS training practices that are led by some autonomous leaders in the community. I don't care if it's at my company's warehouse. I don't care if it's in a local park. It will be publicly advertised. I don't care if the police are in attendance, right? Because the police are already coming in and being live streamers, right? And walking around and catching everybody who doesn't have a mask on their face. They're intentional, right? They're in as live streamers to collect evidence that they can use against us in a court of law, right? It's happening.
The files are being built.
The videos are being published. Here's the evidence why these people were arrested.
But what is shit? The thing is, I've seen that shit, like just going out and doing that, to like the rain, just to see like how they really were trained these kids. It was impressive. I mean,
Right.
really training them instead of just doing the marches.
Well, and that's why when we were at the train tracks there on Welton, right, and Park Avenue West. And I got lit. I was getting tired and lit and excited, whatever. But they're forming a line. All of a sudden, there's holes, and I'm like, "Who's filling this hole? You know, and why are you here?" Right?
Yeah, they need that feedback.
They need that feedback, and they're like, "Why is this white guy?" I'm like, "Chicano, thank you."
They also need the feedback about cleaning up the trash.
Well, yeah, no. I'm not afraid.
Yeah.
I'm a leader. I mean, I consider myself earning my spot as an elder in the community, right? Since I came in
That's when you're asking a line and participation.
2012, we were locking arms, pushing cops off the sidewalk into the streets. We were de-arresting people. We went and shut down tar sand pit. De-arresting. Okay. Oh, God. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I got a question.
Yes.
How many of you know what de-arresting is?
No.
Preventing
Will you
someone from
please
being arrested.
explain it?
That is the act of retrieving a comrade from police arrest by any means necessary. It's not an easy task, by the way.
No, it's not.
I've been involved in several. Some have succeeded, some have failed.
Can you give a scenario?
So we were in DC for the Million Mass March in 2016. A friend of mine was standing in the road and got hit by a cop car. The cop jumped out and proceeded to attempt to arrest him. We had like 20 people trying to pull him back from the police line. There was probably 30 cops out there. We did not get him back. They carried him away. He did try to assist by going limp. That does help. It's a lot harder for them to carry away a limp body.
Oh, I know how to do it. I just didn't know what it was called.
Okay, right. But these are conversations that we need to
He
have.
actually had a good setup for us to
Yeah,
get him
some
back.
rough
Like he had
arms
a
like this,
backpack,
and you
like
go
a tactical
limp.
backpack,
And then the other
strapped
person goes
on.
out. I know how to
You
do
know, we
it.
got good grip on that, but like we still couldn't get him back.
Back up and up.
Does anyone need a
Okay.
ride?
So lights.
Everyone needs a ride!
I'll take a ride back.
What?
Anyone need a ride? We're trying to organize folks to get back.
Hey, how many people are we walking, or we're just gonna get in cars? Is that what you're saying?
No, we're walking. But if we're walking, but if anyone needs a ride and would rather not walk, then they're offering me.
Gotcha. If you need a ride, there you go. So locking arms, right? Somebody's getting arrested. You rush. Not walking. I don't want to rush you. Grabbing my person and pull
We're
him.
gonna start walking, everyone.
Right? You can't just do it as one. Right? You might rush him as 4 or 5.
But you got the people that go limp and the people on the side.
Well, the people who go limp are the ones who are in cop custody. The people that are in the group are like, okay, let's go, and we're gonna take that person back.
I guess I was looking at defensively when I was at Sunken Guard, and they talked about, right, you've got 3 of them, and then if you're trying to get taken, then you break the person on either side breaks and goes back, right? And you always have a backpack so you can pull them back.
Yeah. Those are all techniques.
So amazing. That was, yeah.
Yeah. Those, yeah. No. Thank you. These are important conversations.
I know. I enjoy it. See you.
Are you all walking, or did you drive? Yeah. I don't know why I'm going back that way. The short path is right here.
Exactly. So I've still got all my unemployment.
So, folks, let's give you a look. Northglen's got quite a view. So before we go, chance to see some of that. Those beautiful mountains. There's the people coming back from March. Just enjoy some of the mountainous views here. There's a smell of smelting in there. Oh, what do we got down here? Highway there. We're gonna do the march back, but I'm gonna save some bandwidth for later. Mostly just to focus on getting back. There's a nice big dragonfly. Wanted you to see the city. See Denver back there? Yeah. So that's it, folks. We're done for the day. Gonna go home, be safe. Have a great one. Are they here to carpool us? Oh. That'd be pretty sweet. All right, we'll see you tonight. 6:30, Abraham Lincoln, Denver.